I hope I'm audible. So in the last class, we have just went through the few last aphorisms, fifth edition and sixth edition, from the purpose of this PG entrance examination. And we have told that from the next class we will start discussion from 271 onward, skipping the pharmacy part for the time being. So we will do that only. I hope I'm audible. Okay. 271. 271. Up to 263, the diet and regime we have discussed. Let us set the frame a bit. Up to 263 is the diet and regime. From 264 to 271, it is pharmacy part. Okay. And up to 271. So we will start today from 272, which is dealing with the law of simplex. Okay. From 272 to 274, Hahnemann have discussed law of simplex. Law of simplex. What is law of simplex? Giving a medicine, single medicine at a time. This is law of simplex. So I'm reading just a small aphorism. Whenever we encounter a small aphorism in organon, we are happy. In no case is it requisite to administer more than one single simple medicinal substance at one time. Okay. Now, if you see, there is a mark small a, that is the sign of appendix. There are lots of appendices Dajan have added to his translation. Here, if you go to appendix, you will see that Dajan has mentioned a historical, in a historical context, that Dr. AGD, one of the student of Hahnemann, Dr. AGD was actually a veterinary surgeon. While living in Leipzig as a student, he was advised to amputate his leg for certain gangrene, and Hahnemann have cured him with his medicine. Okay, so he was a convert from the orthodox system to homeopathic system and have started practicing homeopathy on human being only. Okay, maybe before at that time people were practicing both both on animal and human being also. So the HG was a veterinary surgeon. The fact that HG was a veterinary surgeon, so he may also practice the veterinary homeopathy. Now this Dr. AGD, while practicing homeopathy, found that whenever two medicines are indicated for different parts of body, that if you give a mixture of these two medicines, or if you give two medicines at a time, it will act more curatively. Okay, so Hahnemann, after seeing some patients, was convinced that there is some truth to this narration. So he thought of incorporating it in organon of medicine, that there may be at some time you need to give two medicine at a time. Okay. In recent, you can see this kind of practice with Dr. P. Banerjee, Prashanto Banerjee of Calcutta, who was practicing this kind of medicine. Means like for appendicitis, his specific medicine is Lycobel. That is a 30 potency of lycopodium and 200 or 30 potency of belladonna mixed in a same vial. Okay, and he used to administer for any kind of appendicitis Lycobel. So like this, that he have formulated certain disease with certain mixture of medicine. Okay, so that is a root. This practice, this kind of practice has a root in Dr. AGD's suggestion to Hahnemann. Okay, although this is not necessary. If actually Dr. Prashanto Banerjee was a very busy practitioner, he used to see thousands of cases daily, so he didn't get time to differentiate between lycopodium and belladonna. It is a fact that in many of the appendix cases, cases of appendicitis will respond to lycopodium or belladonna or iris ver. The iris ver in lower dilution. The fact is that if you get some time to differentiate, you will be able to differentiate between the pain of belladonna and pain of lycopodium. So there is no necessity of giving two medicines at a time in a single vial. You don't know how it is going to mix together or how it is going to act separately. Okay, so that is his practice, and that is not actually advocated here from any sensible or classical homeopath who is practicing and who know that how to differentiate between symptoms of lycopodium, symptoms of right inguinal iliac fossa pain from lycopodium, or and what pain is a kind of belladonna. Very simple answer is lycopodium pain will be aggravated at evening 4 to 8. Lycopodium has an amelioration with this hot. Belladonna will be aggravated by jerk, will be sensitive to touch. These two things you will find in cases of appendicitis, and you will be able to differentiate between lycopodium and belladonna, and most of the cases will be covered with these two medicines only. But there are some other medicines also which is very helpful, like iris ver, rustox, bryonia, and so many other medicines if you get some concomitant. Like podophyllum, if you get this concomitant of rubbing slightly gives amelioration. Okay, so that is the case of appendicitis and giving two medicines at a time. So Dr. AGD has suggested two medicines at a time to Hahnemann, that it is acting curatively. And Hahnemann, after experimenting with this, found that yes, there is some truth to this narration, and thought to incorporate it in his 5th edition of Organon. But due to his, some disciples, they strongly opposed to this narration, that this is not good to incorporate in Organon. So you will get a mild acceptance of Hahnemann in 5th edition. Go to Appendix 220. At the suggestion of Dr. AGD, Hahnemann was induced to try the effect in diseases. Appendix, I am reading Appendix 272 to 274. In my book, it is page number 220. At the suggestion of Dr. AGD, Hahnemann was induced to try the effect in disease, especially the chronic disease, of mixing two highly diluted medicines and giving them in one dose. He was at first greatly pleased with the result obtained and intended to recommend this plan in the 5th edition of Organon, but was dissuaded from this by some of most influential of his disciples. Instead of doing so, he merely alludes to proposal, mildly denouncing it in the note to 272. In the note to 272 is mildly denouncing. Rather, see, some homeopathists have made the experiment in cases where they deemed one remedy homeopathically suitable for one portion of symptoms of a case of disease and a second for another portion. of administering both remedies at the same or almost at the same time. But I honestly deprecate such a hazardous experiment, sorry, which can never be necessary, though it may sometimes seem to be of use. Underline this. Sometimes it seems to be of use. Okay. So this is the story of two medicines. Now go to 273, 6th edition. He clearly given instruction that in no case two medicine should be used. See, after then Hahnemann was a man of practice, experiment. He from 1833 to 1842, he experimented a lot with these two medicines, and he found that it is almost always not necessary. In no case under treatment it is necessary and therefore not permissible to administer to a patient more than one single simple medicine, not permissible. No relaxation has been given. One single simple medicinal substance at one time. It is inconceivable how the slightest doubt could exist as to whatever it was more consistent with the nature and more rational to prescribe a single simple medicine at one time in disease or a mixture of several differently acting drugs. It is absolutely not allowed in homeopathy. Underline this. The one true, simple, and natural art of healing to give the patient at one time two different medicinal substances. Okay. Now you got a footnote here. That footnote explains about the substances found as a mixture in homeopathy. In nature, like some sulfurated metals, some sulfurated halogens like natrum sulf, like aurum sulf, okay, calcarea sulf. These are some substances which are found in compound form in nature and has been extracted there, and medicine have been prepared substance only and has been proved, so it can be used. So Hahnemann have given the discussion upon this mixture type of medicines, compound type of medicines like natrum sulf we are using, calcarea sulf we are using, aurum sulf we are using. I have narrated a case once of depression. Patient was so depressed that he was not able to do his business. ये सब करके क्या होगा? I don't feel anything, like means I feel like suicide and this and that. He was a Muslim patient, and while we were discussing accessory circumstances, we have discussed that how these accessory circumstances will modify the symptoms. This suicidal impulse was not converted into actual act because in Islam and in Judaism, this Jewish people, this the suicide has been forbidden, forbidden. So they cannot suicide. So these symptoms are modified. Sometimes while discussing accessory symptoms, follow that lecture. These symptoms are actually modified into some other actions like chain smoking, like doing the things which are hazardous to health, like this. So you will find the suicidal in impulses have been modified. Suicidal desire. So that patient have a suicidal desire, but he was not committing suicide, but he was not interested in business, he was not interested in life, and he was doing lots of things which can hamper his which was hazardous to his health. So I was giving him aurum met. Okay. And that patient, many a time I thought that this patient is of having sulfur constitution, dirty nail, stooped shoulder, dirty clothes, and dirtiness was everywhere. But I was still prescribing aurum med because of his mental symptoms. Now one day I decided to give him aurum sulf, and a dose of aurum sulf in high potency has completely cured that patient of those complex symptoms. Okay, and I was later on surprised to found this symptom of aurum sulf in Clark's Metria Medica. In Clark's Metria Medica, if you have Clark's Metria Medica, aurum sulf. Let me bring that and we will uh, discuss. This Clark's Mathematica in the chapter aurum sulf. Aurum sulf. Aurum has so many salts. Aurum mur, aurum sulf, aurum mur calinatum, aurum mur natrium, and aurum sulfuratum. Okay, these are the salts of aurum. So is aurum, this is a, in the characteristics you will find this is a valuable gold preparation which I have used with success in aurum cases with some sulfur indications. Underline this. Aurum cases with some sulfur indication. Okay, now this is the Clark's Mathematica, and I have also found that case aurum sulf have cured that patient of his so many complex symptoms. So this is called a synthetic prescription, and it was later on dawned upon me when I was a PG student in DNA Homeopathic Medical College and Hospital. I was having duty at Shalda peripheral OPD of DNA. There, a house staff took a case and came to me, and she told me that it is a mixture of natrium and sulfur. कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. There are two medicines coming, and I thought, why don't we give two medicines? I jokingly told her that we will give two medicines, and she was also taking it lightly. But later on, we prescribed natrium sulf. Some symptoms of natrium and some symptoms of sulfur. Prescribing two medicines in orthodox homeopathic institution is a crime. Okay, that is why whenever we are talking about two medicines, we will talk about in whisper. Okay, and this is a good practice in Bengal, which have been that is strictly forbids its student to practice anything beside Hahnemann or Kent. Okay, there is a discussion how Kentian homeopathy is deviated from Hahnemannian homeopathy. There is a slide we can discuss it for days together, that how Kentian homeopathy is slightly deviation, not slightly, very much deviation from Hahnemannian homeopathy. Leave that. So we prescribe the person natrium sulf, and on that day it was dawned upon me that yes, this can be practiced, and later on this was found that aurum sulf patient was found and had prescribed. So here in the footnote, Hahnemann is discussing about such medicine, and you will get an article. I forgot about which article is there in the Kent's lesser writing. There are two lesser writings of Kent available in the market. One which is edited by Gipser. Okay, Gipser is a homeopath still living in Germany. Okay, he is very old now. We tried to convince him to come lecture, but it was so costly for us, so we was not able to arrange. Has collected writings. This is called Kent's Minor Writing on Homeopathy, edited by Gipser. This is one, and other writing is Kent's Minor Writing is Lesser Writing by Kent. These two are actually very helpful in understanding the Kentian philosophy. In either of these two books, you will find an article over synthetic prescription, where Kent have, though he have not included in his Materia Medica, but Kent have advised this kind of synthetic prescription of natrium sulf, calcarea sulf, some symptoms of calcarea and some symptoms of sulfur. So natrium sulf. Later on, it is a common practice among homeopaths to remember medicines like this. Like we have discussed once, Aristochia clematis. The Whitman, Edward Whitman, in Alchemy of Healing. These are important for those who are doing their MD examination, doing their post graduation, and going for their MD examination. Edward Whitman. In that, you will find lots of remedy. One is Aristolochia clematis, and he is giving like sepia, pulsatilla, and arnica, a mixture of three medicines. So people later on homeopaths used to remember some medicines like this. Aristolochia clematis is sepia, pulsatilla, and arnica. Osteoarthritic nosode is Lycopodium personality, Rustux modality, arnica injury, arnica causation. Okay, Lycopodium personality, osteoarthritic nosode. It is very helpful in cases of advanced osteoarthritis, OA nosode. It is available with the international in LM potency. I have used it in LM potency only, not in centesimal. I don't know where it is available in centesimal or not. So this is for arnica injury, Rustux modalities, and Lycopodium personality. So there are some medicines which we used to remember like this. One is Aristolochia clematis, but that is a different thing. That is the aid to memory. But here it is some feature of calcarea and some feature of sulfur, some feature of natrum and some feature of sulfur, some feature of odrum and some feature of sulfur, like calcarea fluor. Whenever I prescribe calcarea fluor, I try to search out some syphilitic background, because the fluoric acid, the fluorine present in it, the fluorine which is present in it is having a syphilitic base. So if you get some syphilitic background, like calcarea fluor is very helpful in a cervical spondylitis. If you get some degeneration at the bone, and this degeneration of the bone is nothing but syphilis. So calcarea fluor is acting miracles, where you will get just spondylitis is not there actually. There is just a loss of cervical curvature. There, calcarea fluor may not act. Okay, calcarea to act to calcarea fluor to act needs some syphilitic basis. Okay, there you can find where there is a problem with the curvature. There you can find this Calmia acting very helpfully. Calmia having tingling sensation all over the upper extremity. Okay, yesterday I got a case of motor nerve paralysis, motor neuropathy. What happens in motor neuropathy? The proximal muscles are actually what to say? It's wasting of proximal muscles, and there was nothing in the cervical spine. There was nothing in the brain. There was nothing in the cervical spine, and the lady was having this wasting of these muscles. So this was purely a functional case of motor neuropathy. And here you cannot think of means where there is no degeneration, we cannot think of calcarea fluor. So I gave the lady some constitutional medicine. I think it was, I prescribed aconite to that lady because the onset of this was sudden. Let's hope for the good result. So anyway, that was a side topic. Natrum sulf and calcarea sulf, calcarea fluor, calcarea iode. What we see in calcarea iode, some features of calcarea, some features of iodinum. And this iode is morely affecting the glands. If the glands are more affected, you can think of calcarea iode. If thyroids are affected, you can think of calcarea iode in calcarea personality. So read this footnote. Two substances opposite to each other. Read this footnote. 273, 6th edition. Two substances opposite to each other, united into neutral natrum and middle salts by chemical affinity in unchangeable proportion, as well as sulfurated metals found in the earth and those produced by technical art in constant combining proportions of sulfur and alkaline salts and earth. For instance, natrum sulf, calcarea sulf, as well as Those ethers produced by distillation of alcohol and acids may together with phosphorus be considered as simple medicinal substance. Underline this. Still they can be considered as simple medicinal substance. That means naturally occurring. That is not Kent's simple substance. Okay, that is vital force. Regarding vital force, Kent has told that it is actually the Soderbergh philosophy that every living or non-living things have its vital force, and that we call simple substance. And every simple substance is not vital force, but vital force is simple substance. Okay, and vital force is related to human being. No, this simple medicinal substance by the homeopathic physician and used for patients. On the other hand, those extract obtained by means of acids of the so-called alkaloids of plant are exposed to great variety in their preparation. For instance, chinin, chinin, stretchinin, morphine. Underline this. These are the active principle of come to 3 lines below. You will get Peruvian bark, Nux vomica, and opium. In respect, it is written quinine, stretchinin, and morphine. Okay, and can therefore not be accepted by homeopathic physician as simple medicine. Cannot be accepted by homeopathic physician. But whatever Hahnemann have told has not been followed till date. You will find santonin is in practice, atropine is in practice, stretchinin is in practice of homeopath. Open Allen's keynote, Sina. Allen's keynote, Sina. Whatever Hahnemann have told has not been exactly practiced till now. Last line. Santonin sometimes cures in worms affection when Sina seems indicated but fails. Okay? When Sina indicated but fails. So, Santonin is the active principle of Sina. Stretchinin, you will find stretchinin in Boris Mathematica. You will find atropine also. Okay, and now previously one case I got a few days back, there was a peculiar symptom that the person lost his memory and go back 20 years back of his life. Like if it is 2022, he will tell that no, I'm living in 2020. Okay, like 2002. And if his child is of 25 years age, तो ये तो मेरा बच्चा नहीं है, ये तो मेरा बेटा नहीं है, मेरा बेटा तो 3 साल का है और 4 साल का है. Like this is a very peculiar symptom. And when I searched Kent's repertory, I found in a nearest rubric to that condition is delusion, past events, past delusion of events long, delusion past of events long, and single medicine is giving, and that is given here, and that is atropine. Atropine is a alkaloid of belladonna and is still being used. So I decided to give the lady some constitutional remedy before trying atropine. If she is not responding to this constitutional remedy which I have prescribed, most probably I prescribe her ignitia due to some hysterical element to that. And there was a twitching of you will be astonished to know that there was also a twitching of the lids. And this twitching of the lid is very peculiar to atropine. Okay, some twitching, baat karte karte, there was a twitching and the eyeball becomes small. And then again, this slowly dilated. So this is very peculiar to atropine. I was not having atropine with me. I procure it. I will procure it later on. When next visit, when the patient will come and next visit, I definitely am going to try atropine. Okay. So this Hahnemann is telling these alkaloids are not acceptable to homeopaths, but we as a homeopath using these alkaloids. Okay. So after proving, actually, we have proved these alkaloids, and after proving, we have incorporated it in our Mathematical. Okay. Now, and can therefore not be accepted by homeopathic physician as simple medicine always. The same, especially as he poses in plants themselves in their natural state. Every quality necessary for healing. Moreover, the alkaloids are not only constituted of that plants. Okay. So if nux vomica is needed, you cannot give strychnine, but you can use strychnine as a separate medicine after you have proved it on healthy human being. Any medicine which you want to incorporate as a medicine in your mathematica, you have to prove it first. Okay, now come to 273. 273, fifth edition. It is not conceivable how the slightest dubiety could exist as to whether it was more consistent with nature and more rational to prescribe a single well-known medicine at one time in a disease or a mixture of several differently acting drugs. Okay, same thing has been told here. And sixth edition, 273, sixth edition, there